Hi, this is Anna Crowe with the Get Real podcast, where CEOs, CMOs, and communications experts share their real advice. It's 6 questions under 9 minutes because we get to it real fast. So let's get to it. Excited to have today's guest with us. In a few sentences, please tell us who you are and what you do.
Hi, I'm Rachel Swerdloff, a fiance, a daughter, sister, friend. I'm co-founder of Trinity House Entertainment, Inc., and I'm Senior Vice President of Men Together. The mission with Trinity House Entertainment is to help share the Word of God and educate how to incorporate the power of God's Word in our lives and our interactions through music, daily messages, and educational articles to bring hope and inspiration to support one another, especially during these difficult times right now. We're worldwide, and we recently had one of our latest singles, I Can Move Mountains, on the top 10 list in internet radio. Really exciting. And with Men Together, we're a new free social platform that helps cancer patients and caregivers organize and receive meaningful support from their friends, families, and colleagues. Both share this mission of supporting others.
Wonderful. Well, you definitely stay busy and are doing some incredible work. So thanks for finding some time to join us today.
I'm really happy to be here.
Awesome. Well, Rachel, what do you think is the best thing about being a leader in your industry?
So the best thing as a leader in any industry really is you have this opportunity every day to make decisions that will impact lives in a positive way. Whether you manage a team, manage an initiative, or you're defining or refining a mission, there's great fulfillment that comes from changes that you can positively influence and the behaviors that you can change for the better. So for example, in the entertainment industry with my company, Trinity House, you can see the powerful outcome that our inspirational music, daily messages, and the articles that we share have had, and how that has helped to positively change people's doubts into understanding, or their fear into faith. We share these daily messages in our Facebook community, and I would love to have your listeners join us to receive that daily encouragement, because we all need a gas station to fuel ourselves up.
I love that, especially now more than ever. There's definitely a need for that. So that's fantastic. Rachel, I hear from other executives that creating authentic connections, especially today when it's so noisy, can be very challenging. And that's speaking to your customers or team members or anybody in the community. I'd love to hear your take on that.
Yeah. So authenticity isn't as easy as just saying, okay, I'm going to keep to my word. I'm going to treat everyone the same, and I'm going to speak my truth. That last one is tough because most people are afraid to speak their truth in fear of being judged or rejected. I know you speak about this in your book, and I wanted to touch upon that because I have a trick that's helped me. I'm still working through it. But for me, the truth is that the only one who can truly judge you is God, not your friends, not your family, not your colleagues. And so hopefully that can help to remove some of that fear when you want to speak your truth. So for example, right now, from what I've shared, on one hand, there might be some people who don't understand the power of God and see it as a weakness. And then on the other hand, I've seen it personally help me with strengthening partnerships, strengthening relationships, whether it's with colleagues that I work with, people in my family, friends, because deep down, people are looking for something to believe in, especially if they don't believe in themselves, or because they too are being judged or told what they can or cannot do. And there is a movie called Sliding Doors, which is back in the 1990s with Gwyneth Paltrow. It's an old movie, but very good. And it depicts this where she has 2 lives to live. And one, she speaks her truth, and the other, she doesn't. But you see what happens in that journey. So it's really this balance of figuring out what your truth is with grace, with humility, removing your pride. And then maybe we can get back together in a year from now and see how much I've transitioned, because to be authentic in this moment, this is one of the first times I'm really expressing my truth.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing. And you're right about that movie. It's been a while since I watched it, but I might have to rewatch it. But really great, powerful messages that you're delivering. Do you have any real advice for other leaders? Is there anything else that you think is really important?
Yeah, I would say there's 3 things to being a leader from my experience. The first one is use your faith to guide your own behaviors. So this is key to building a strong foundation as a leader, because faith is a decision. It's a decision to have faith in yourself. It's a decision to have faith in the people who work for you and in the mission that you're working toward and the purpose that you have in your life. So when you keep that intact, you can become a leader that people will follow and believe in, because you believe in yourself and you believe in them. And it's hard to avoid judgments or assumptions, but isn't that what we're trying to correct, trying to do in our society, especially now? So then we should implement those same values in our company culture and give people the benefit of the doubt, because as a team, everyone's going to make mistakes. You just should be there to support each other. When one person's weak, the other person is strong. That's why you hire diverse talent, which then goes to my second piece of advice, is to know that kindness is strength. It's not a weakness. And with that faith comes discernment to learn the difference between when to be kind and when to walk away. So think about it. Who do you remember more of the people you've worked with? The ones that were uplifting to you and worked with you, or the ones that were hard on you for no reason or worked you like a dog, right? So then the third piece and the last piece is have faith in your abilities to share and teach the skills that you know. So some leaders feel like the information they have may be top secret and they can't educate or they can't share because it's their secret sauce. And if they give it away, what value do they have when it's the exact opposite? So for example, if you share a piece of information, share a framework, if I share a framework with you, you're going to execute that framework in a completely different way than I would, and I execute it in a completely different way than you would. So for example, I'm sure you've been to an art class where an instructor is teaching everybody how to paint a tree and a bench, and he gives you the exact techniques of how to make that painting. But you see, everybody's painting is completely different. So the same applies if you have a team of 80 people and you teach them everything that you know. They will then take that same behavior and do it with the 80 companies that they go off and do, or the 80 teams that they go off and manage. And you can just imagine how incredible that is, that you've now inspired this behavior and this opportunity of social change in relationship building and thinking about how we can work together.
That's great advice, and also appreciate the analogies. That really puts things into, with clarity and adds a new perspective. So I love that. Thank you.
Yes.
Well, before we get to our final question, are there any other successful executives such as yourself that you would want to give a shout out to or think should be on this podcast?
Yes, I have 3 incredible women that I'd love to share with you. One is the founder of Men Together, Lisa LaFave. She is the CEO and founder and just an incredible inspiration to me every day working with her and the company that we're building. There's also Kathy Brady, who I've worked with at American Express. Her demeanor, her communication. She's chief of staff of Catch a Fire. It's a non-for-profit where you can volunteer your skills to make a difference. And then Beth Ziff, who is uplifting and inspiring. I learned so much from her earlier on in my career. She's COO of a global customer service agency called Premier Response. Incredible woman.
Awesome. They sound perfect. Well, our final question is more of a fun one. Tell us about your first job.
Yes. So one of my first jobs, I worked in a mall, and I had to persuade them to hire me early. I think you had to be 15 to work, and I was 14 at the time. So they did. They hired me a couple months before I turned 15. And I worked directly with the founders, and I listened to the customers. There was parents who would come in with their children, and they would see a backpack. There was one in particular, they said, I wish it had zippers, or I wish this looked like a monkey instead of an elephant. And so I would share these insights with the founder. And then we would put together and actually produce the new backpack, which then became a #1 seller. And so I said, this is really cool. I like listening to what customers are saying and seeing how we can make revenue from the insights from people's conversations. And the other piece too was when we were working on commission, some of the people in the front of the store would speak to the same customer that were speaking in the back of the store, and we were having the same conversations, and it could annoy the customer. So we decided to get headsets so that if one person already spoke to the customer and was helping them, we'd know. And that's similar to AI or to some of the digital technologies that you're doing on your e-commerce platforms today. And so for me, growing in my career, I really enjoyed taking what was happening in person, in real life, and just how does that translate to online digitally? So
that's great. I love that. Well, very cool. How can people get a hold of you, Rachel?
Yes, you can link in with me on LinkedIn. You can also come to my company, TrinityHouseEntertainmentInc.com, and join our Facebook community, and check out mentogether.com. Also, if you know anyone who's going through cancer, or if you are taking care of someone who's going through cancer, love to help with our free resources.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, we will post all those resources when we put the podcast up. And thanks everyone for tuning in. This is Anna Crowe on the Get Real podcast. For more insights, visit us at crowepr.com. Thanks so much and make it a great day.